What is a secret you have sworn never to tell but you will gladly share anonymously on the internet? In 1991, my business partner committed suicide by removing his seatbelt and driving his car into a concrete barrier. He left me a note on his computer at work describing what he was planning to do and why. He also apologized to me for leaving me without a partner. I have never told anyone. Everyone thinks it was an accident. Damn, that is a lot to live with. It was at first. Especially when I would spend time with his family. I debated for a long time whether or not to print his letter and show it to them. But at the end I could not justify putting them through the torment just to satisfy my own need to tell someone. I think I may have finally satisfied that need. With my good best friend Reddit. A few years ago my dad admitted to me after his divorce with my mom that he was going to commit suicide. He said he was in his bedroom, had a gun to his head. The only thing that stopped him was the fact that he caught a glimpse of a picture of me that was hanging on the wall. He is remarried now. Have not ever brought it up to him since. Tell him you love him. My wife does not know that our 3 kids are secretly named after Street Fighter characters. Blanca, E. Honda, Guile. Pancakes are getting cold, you girls. One night my dad came home pretty drunk in my late teens. He instantly ran up to our dog and started dancing with him while my dog waited to be let out. He pours the strongest whiskey drink I have ever had in my life. Still to this day. And slams on the couch. Half asleep he asks me if I know how I was born. Thinking he is going to get into the birds and the bees I quickly avoid the subject. He wakes up immediately and says no. You do not even know. You were conceived in the bathroom of MSG at an Aerosmith concert while I was hoped up on a bunch of drugs with your mom. He then told me that it was in the men's room. And I asked him if he did it in a stall and he just started laughing. 1 week later it finally hit me why my name is Tyler. My mate never knew his real dad. Me and him got drunk at his house and his mum came in wasted and started spilling family secrets. Turns out the reason he never knew his dad was because he was conceived in an SM gangbang. Could have been any one of 5 guys and most were wearing masks. He threatened me with a knife to never tell a soul. Was it the 1995 Denver Broncos? A friend's mom has a Redskins Super Bowl ring. She got it from one of them during a team event. I was at a buddy's house around age 14. His parents were out for the day, so we decided to rifle through their room to see if we could find tobacco or porn. We find a VHS and get really excited. Pop that sucker in. Well, this is interesting. Woman spread eagle on bed getting rammed by huge black dude. Slightly off camera. White guy jerking off to the interracial slab fest. Hey man, I think that chick looks like your poop. So we found a video of his mom getting super banged by a huge random black dude while his dad jerked off in the corner. Too long didn't he read do not go through your parents' poop. My best friend was raped by an old friend of his by knife point. In retaliation, my friend kidnapped his rapist with the help of some thugs, dragged him out in the woods, and broke most of his teeth out with an unloaded pistol. No one was caught or turned in. In all honesty, if I was offered a chance to brutally punish the man who molested my friend as a child, I would take it and make him wish he was dead. It just seems just. I had a friend over to study when she suddenly had to leave with no explanation. I waved goodbye, she ran off into the night. I happened to see her from my window and saw her squat over some bushes and proceed to have explosive diarrhea all over the poor shrubs. She does not know I saw her do this because she thought it was dark enough to cover her shitty situation. Wait. She was more embarrassed about using your bathroom than shitting outside. WTF. To be honest, I think she thought she could make it home. Did not happen. I have been a pawnbroker for 7 years. I see all kinds of crazy people and have heard every possible story I can imagine. One day a lady came in and needed to pawn her husband's wedding ring. She explained to me that he had recently passed away and it was the only thing she had worth any money. And the amount I could give was a meager $30, but it helped her out in her bind. While she did not like to, she would bring in that ring every few weeks, borrow $30, and then return within a few weeks to reclaim her prized possession. This went on for about 3 years. Towards the end there the ring tended to stay for more than a few weeks. The loan cycle is 90 days. And at the end you can pay the accrued finance charges for another 90-day loan period. She needed to do this a few times because she was unable to come up with a full redemption amount. One day I was sorting jewelry from expired loans and realized her ring was expired by a few days. So I secretly hid the ring in a safe and changed the expiration date in the computer for another month. I desperately looked out for this woman to come into the store, because I knew if she came in while my boss was there he would be able to look up her account and see the modified date in the computer, and I would be busted. I knew that she would never abandon this treasure of hers, and my mind could not come up with a reason she would abandon the ring. Then the day came. She came in. I explained to her in secret that I had held onto her ring so that she could renew or redeem it. She was thankful, but explained that she had been desperately trying to come up with the money to pay for it, but she had no luck coming up with it. I told her I would hang on to it for a little while longer and explained that I would lose my job if I was caught. She said she would be back the very next day with the money for it. Guaranteed. I said no worries. Get it as soon as you can. I'll hang on to it. The next day came and went. She never showed up. After 4 days I was struggling once again with what to do about the situation, and she walked in. Now at this time I felt a great weight of empathy for this woman. She reminded me so much of my own deceased mother, and I swear every time I looked upon her I saw my own mother. If things were different. Over those 3 years I saw this woman's life degrade so much. It is the saddest tale I have ever witnessed unfold in reality. She explained to me that she still had no money, and as for her reason for not showing up the day she said she would, she told me she was busted in Portland for attempting prostitution. She had had no luck trying to work the streets for a measly $18 and change the amount of interest owed for this loan at this point, and instead ended up in jail with criminal charges. That was one of the most terrible things I could imagine. What a sick twisted fate. I told her as long as it takes, I will hang on to it, no matter what. As soon as you are able, come pay the finance charges or redeem it, whatever you are able to come up with. But do not worry, I will hold on to it. Looking back, I wish I could have done more. If only I was not so damn poor myself. I blame my GF at the time. She was expensive. I would have just paid for it out of my own pocket. It was one more week till payday. Then I was going to pay it myself whether she had the money or not. At this point I felt the most important thing was making sure she kept this ring. That was the last time I ever saw her. I read the news online every single day. The next day I read an article that blew my mind and wounded my heart forever. She had apparently left the pawn shop and drove far away to the Oregon coast and walked into the ocean and drowned. I realized at this point that the value of human life is worth more than $18 and change. To this day I carry a $20 bill in my wallet with her name on it. The next time I can save a life for $20, I have it covered. I ended up purchasing the ring for myself, and it is one of my most coveted treasures. If only there was more I could do. Incredibly beautiful. You are an amazing person, but there is nothing you could have done. You did everything possible and you truly did try to help this woman out. I have found my dad's biological mother. I want to tell my family so badly, but I'm sworn to secrecy. It is especially hard when they speculate about it. I have wanted to spill the beans so many times. I have to physically keep the secret behind my lips. Why cannot you tell them? Why does it have to be a secret? Still waiting. Today I learned 2060 to find out. My friend hosted a party for her birthday. I found her passed out and vomit in her room. So I rinsed her off in the shower and put her in bed. Not wanting to leave her in wet clothes, I began to change her and realized that she had pooped herself. I did the one thing that no other friend would do. I wiped her ass like a ducking baby diaper change and put clean clothes on her. It was awkward to tell her what happened the next day, but I did hate to wake up with poop in my pants too. Luckily, I do not get that level of drunk. Dude, please accept this Friend of the Year trophy. A friend of mine once flicked a bottle cap across our cafeteria, only to hear a girl yell "OW" from across the room. The next day the girl showed up to school with a bandage on her eye. She has been blind in it ever since. I still remember way back in middle school once during an assembly that I had a randomly thrown pencil hit me right in the middle of one lens of my glasses. It is one reason I still wear glasses over contacts. I was 13 and babysitting. The little girl and I were playing with her dollhouse when she took the young girl doll and daddy in a corner. When I found the little girl, she was saying SHHH and the dad doll was on top of the girl doll. I thought it was messed up but did not realize how much so until I got much older. I have always wondered if it was a cry for help and I was too young or too unwilling to see it. It still eats me up inside. In medical school we are taught to look for signs in children of abuse. As a 13-year-old, you had no responsibility to know anything like that. Sorry you had to be a part of that. But I hope you absolve yourself of any feelings of guilt. When I was a teenager about 30 years ago, I was house dog sitting for an elderly neighbor. She had a Polaroid camera and plenty of film laying around. And I took a bunch of nude pics of myself in mirror. Just because, well, I was a teenage boy. But afterwards, I was nervous about having them in my house. What if my mom or sister or whoever found them? I was very shy about my body and small wang. But taking and having the pictures did sexually excite me. And I wanted to get rid of them in a way that would be arousing as well. So I went to the public library and discreetly went to the section of books that I figured only women would read or check out: knitting, sewing, cookbooks, etc. One in each book to maximize distribution. A few years later, a neighbor woman, what we had called a MILF today, was talking with my mom in the kitchen, just chatting up. She then tells my mom she checked out a few books in the library, and in two of them, she found naked pictures of a young man flaunting his rather less endowed erection, and they both had a good laugh. Damn, your mom's milfy friend said you have a small peen. How does that make you feel? How'd she not recognize it was you? He probably did not show his face. I got my driver's license on accident. I never actually ever took a driver's test or anything of the sort. I just walked in, gathered my driver's permit from another state, a few papers showing I was a resident in this new state, and then they mistook the permit for an actual license. It is because my old state permit had said I had two restrictions on it. Class A because I needed glasses, and Class B because it was only a permit and I needed a licensed passenger with me at all times. The new state got confused and took away the Class A and just gave me a Class B, which in that state a Class B license meant something different. It meant I needed glasses. Anyway, I just kept a poker face on the whole time and walked out. If any of that is confusing, I can clarify. Too long didn't he read I got a driver's license without taking a test. Class B in my state means you can drive a ducking bus. Congrats, man. I know of a bank in NC that has a manhole in the vault. It is only covered by the tile that makes up the floor of the vault. It was mistakenly dug in and has never been filled in. I am one of 8 people who was on the crew that made the mistake. Is it connected to the sewers? Yes, it is. It is pretty easy to get to, but most people walk right past it. We should talk.